Hello and welcome once again to the Legion Beta. At the moment I am currently on the Demon Invasion realm, which means everyone's stuck at level 100. There's demon invasions going on all around the world, so I can just quickly show an example of that. Okay, Kalimdor's perfectly safe. Here you go, here's some shit going on in the Eastern Kingdoms. There's something going on in Westfall and Dunmurrow. So these demon invasions, if I just go in... no, that's not the right area. There's Westfall. And... seems like the map's not showing it, but basically you can see on the map a load of objectives pop up and you can actually go and kill a load of things and earn rewards. But I'm not currently wanting to talk about that. What I want to talk about is preparing for Legion and any changes that your class might have gone under. Now I'm not talking about the entire overhaul of the classes and the new spells and abilities and talents. I'm talking about what happens when you log in to 7.0 and everything has changed regarding stats and other characterizations and features that might have been added. So the most obvious thing that you're gonna notice straight away is your transmog is going to be on your Shift P thing somewhere, appearances, and you can go to a transmog vendor and do all of your appearances and shit through all these different options. Any quest that you have ever completed, you have the rewards for, and it goes cross character. So on my Death Knight, which I play as my main on Warlords of Draenor, I collect everything I've come across. My banks are completely full, so they've all been added to this. So if I go on my Warrior, also a plate wearer, I can use all of the things, barring the obviously tier pieces, on my Warrior, and I can mog to the things that I've collected on my Death Knight. So it's pretty handy. So that's the appearances. A lot of things have been added to the toy box that weren't previously toys, such as Aviana's Feather and this thing that restores health. There's a couple of other things as well. Everborn and Fruit. This is something else from the inn that heals you up. So yeah, just go over a few of the things that you might have previously had and they weren't toys. There's another couple of things there from Warlords. They have been turned into toys and sometimes have a bit of a shitty requirement, such as only being able to use in Draenor now. But it is what it is. Something else that you'll notice directly on your character is your gear has changed, and you will have to mouse over it to understand exactly what changed, because multi-strike is getting removed. Anything that ignore the dungeon queue. I just wanted to see what dungeon would turn out like. Anyway, anything that previously had multi-strike on has had the multi-strike deleted and changed into something else. So for example, on my tier piece, on my chest, on live, it has crit multi-strike. Now it has crit mastery. The legs, haste multi-strike, now have haste mastery. The shoulders, mastery multi-strike, now have haste mastery. And everyone who uses the legendary ring, which is a pretty common number of people, it used to have crit multi-strike, now has crit mastery. One other thing I wanted to note on it as well is the trinket from Kazakh, if you are using it, which a lot of people probably do. This has also changed as well. So it used to have, I think, 205-ish upgraded on all stats and strength. With the removal of multi-strike, it has been compensated, since it already has all the other stats, by making them higher and raising the strength value as well, or agility, intellect, whatever it is that you use for it. So that's been altered a little bit. Okay, so what else has changed regarding Death Knight specifically, which is what I want to get into. So presences have been removed. This has had the unfortunate effects of nerfing Death Knight without them even thinking how to compensate for it. So for Frost Death Knights, Frost Presence used to give you, I think it was 20% extra runic power spent. So for those who don't know, every single rune you spend generates 10 runic power as a baseline. So for Frost Death Knights, every single rune granted 12. So your runic power generation has kind of been nerfed. However, Frost was lucky enough to actually get Frost Fever have a chance to grant 5 runic power per tick. So in AoE you actually generate a lot of runic power. So Frost got it lucky there. However, they're not very fun in my opinion. This is completely subjective. You might have a different opinion of it, but as someone who liked Frost on live, honestly, and used it for 90% of the fights I'm in. It felt like really breakneck paced and really fast, and you always had Plague Leech and Blood Tap to compensate when you was running out of runes, so you could keep going and going and going. They've lost both of those abilities, and the Icy Talons passive that they had, where you gain 20% or more, I can't remember the exact details, more haste from all sources of haste. It made your rune speed quite high, and that's gone. So your rune speed is super fucking low. And Unholy suffers the same issue. Unholy Presence used to give you increased rune speed as well. It's now gone, and you can't gain haste from any other source. As a result, when I logged into this character, it had something like 8.7 second rune speed, which is fucking horrible to play with, so much so that I've actually re-enchanted all my gear to haste, because it's unfucking bearable. I don't like playing with anything more than a 7-second rune speed, especially with the removal of Plague Leech and Blood Tap. It's pretty brutal. On to the positives, however, Unholy is pretty fucking awesome. So I will quickly go over the talents I've chosen, because they will, assuming you have your 4-piece, be greatly dictated into what you take. So, Bursting Swords and Ebon Fever, are, you know, these are okay talents. You know, don't discount them. I'll take in All Will Serve. Go into why in a second. Epidemic, this is essentially your new Blood Boil, so if you're ever going to be doing a lot of AoE, or, well, any AoE for that fact, you want Epidemic. Otherwise, take or leave the other two. Taking Clawing Shadows, because in my gear I have fucking loads of mastery since the changes, so I'm taking something that changes Scared Strike into pure shadow damage. Just seems to make sense to me. Sludge Belcher I'll go into in a moment, although it's probably the only way to go. I mean, Asphyxiate has some nice survivability, and this is more for PvP, but Sludge Belcher is pretty good. On this one, if you're going to be taking anti-magic shell damage, you know you're going to be soaking a lot, so you want to make it soak even more. You probably want to take this, but for emergency situations, take Corpse Shield, because it makes you have kind of like a soul link, or like a sacrifice or something, like for warlocks. Taking Infected Claws just to make sure that I can try and have as much uptime on my Festering Wounds as possible, and I'm taking Soul Reaper again for the haste issue. So, why am I taking so much pet related things? That's because of my set bonus. Increases the damage of all my pets by 20%. And with All Will Serve, I get another pet. And with the Sludge Belcher, I get an even stronger pet. So it just sort of makes it all that much better. I could even go even further and take a Valkyrie, but I might do that in a moment. But for now I'm going to show you Soul Reaper. Defile's exactly the same as it's always been, except now it gives you a bit of mastery as well. On to the damaging stuff. So here's my pets, here's my Abomination, and here is my Risen Skulker. Now this guy is a bit of a pain in the ass to control, but don't let his appearance and size and the fact that he's kind of goes under the radar a bit fool you. This guy, he's going to surprise you, trust me. Okay, onto the target dummy. Let's get behind it. So what you want to be doing is going to open with Outbreak, which applies your new disease, which is sort of like kind of like a blood plague mixed with necrotic plague. It doesn't stack up, but it does spread. Then you want to be using Festering Strike to always have Festering Wounds on the target. You burst them with Scared Strike, and then you use Death Coil as needed. Dark Transformation and Gargoyle and the Legendary Ring, you know, they're cooldowns as they always have been. Use them at the best opportune times. And that's it. The only other thing is obviously Soul Reaper coming into effect as a talent. You pretty much use that on cooldown, and always make sure that before you do use it you have at least 3 Festering Wounds on the target. So it's quite watered down in the fact that it doesn't have a lot to press, and when I was initially sort of looking at Unholy, that was my opinion of it. However, in practice, actually playing it, it is a lot of fun. So let's get down into it. So you open with Outbreak, straight away I got a Stun and Doom proc, I'm just going to spend that. Get some Festering Wounds on the target, which are these things here, and then pop them with Scared Strikes, and that is your rotation. It's not that bad though. So let's get some Festering Wounds on the target. There's 3, so now we're going to use Soul Reaper, because Soul Reaper can pop up to 3 wounds for its duration to get up to 21% haste, which is really nice. As you can see up here, 21 haste. That has now affected my rune speed, and taken it down to 6.88 seconds, which is beautiful. It makes it so much more fluid, and this is why I really like this talent. However, it is only on a short sort of uptime, but it does help during that uptime. Also, your pets benefit from haste, so if you want to sort of line up Soul Reaper with a Dark Transformation, it will help a lot. Onto the Abomination then. So the Abomination, he's a bit like the normal ghoul in that he just has an attack, which he will use, and he has his stun, which is something you can also use. I've actually got it on autocast at the moment because, you know, it's actually a DPS increase for him to use it, just a tiny bit. So I'm currently using that. But in transformation mode, he will do something a little different. He will, where is it? Smash, Cleaver. Yeah, his normal attack ability turns into Vile Gas, doing AoE damage as a poisonous cloud. So let's show you that. Where is he? I think he's under the floor actually. But you can see that sort of like puddle of sort of shit around here, like a little cloud. So that's him doing his damage. And yeah, so that's that. And obviously we've still got our gargoyle. There he goes. And he does his regular stuff. So, like, I've kind of been slacking a bit on actually doing damage on the dummy, like letting my runic power cap out and sort of doing other shit wrong while I've been talking. However, let's just sort of stop attacking, let's call all our pets back, and open Scarda. So, obviously, don't take this into account, I'm not doing 700k DPS, the dummy's a bit out of whack. It's like a low level dummy, 85. Risen Skulker shots. This is the skeletal archer I was talking about. Look at how much damage this little guy's doing. He's doing 30% of all my damage just with his Skulker shot. And that's not all he does. He has another attack somewhere. Where is he? I don't think he's actually doing it. It's got like an AoE. It's like archer spray or something like that. He doesn't appear to be doing it. But yeah, like that extra pet does so much fucking damage. Obviously the new Scared Strike, that's that. Vile Spew Attack, that's my Abomination doing his normal attacks. Virulent Plague, that is the name of the new disease. Death Coil, Gargoyle. Vile Gas is his transformation thing. That would have normally been higher if I was actually using the ability on cooldown, but I was just explaining other things. Festering Wound. So every time you use Festering Strike, it adds that debuff and then you can pop it with Scared Strike. That's what that is. Vile Spew Cleaver. Cleaver is the Abomination's version of Claw when he's not transformed. Virulent Eruption. So this is something that has a 30%, I'll just check. Yep, 30% chance to erupt on your dot. So every time it ticks, a 30% chance for it to do even more damage. That's what that is. And Festering Strike is just the basic Festering Strike. Fellbend, my trinket, Soul Reaper. I wasn't using this on cooldown. It does actually quite a nice amount of damage, as you can see here. I think the actual scaling for it is 350% as Shadow. Again, I wasn't using it on cooldown, so don't take this 1.1% chance as like a finite number. But it's the haste buff, which was the reason I was actually doing it. Outbreak actually does damage when it applies, so it's not a lot, but it does a little bit. Vile Spew, Powerful Smash, and Smash, that's his stun, which I was using on, as I said earlier, I had it on autocast. So that's the way Unholy looks at the moment, and although I won't probably be maining a Death Knight on live, it's going to be demoted to my alt. Unholy is in a fantastic position, and it only gets better with the artifact. The artifact is a lot of fun, and it has some quite powerful traits. So Death Knights, you're in for a pretty decent time, so you'll enjoy that. So that is pretty much everything I want to cover about Legion, really. So I will go into this dungeon, and if you want to see the dungeon, stay in tune, and if you don't, then thanks for watching, and see you next time maybe. As for now though, let's see if people actually accept this dungeon queue, which they should hopefully. So let's go into Skyreach, and I will actually try to play properly this time. Just try and forgive me if I do screw up, because I don't have any of Tell Me When's, Weak Auras, or any other cooldown tracking things, or most of my add-ons for that matter. The only things I actually currently have are Scarda and this thing that actually... shut up. Too loud. This thing that actually brings back a sort of more in-depth look at the character sheet, because on Legion it has been heavily nerfed. It looks fucking awful. It's so simplified. So you're going to be wanting to get that add-on, and I'll link it in the description below because it is so much better. So Skyreach, heroic. Heroics in Warlords, you all know what they're like. They're complete bullshit. They're a face roll, but you know, people are wanting to see actually how the new abilities work out. So I'm going to show that. So let's go. So I'm assuming he's going to keep running. Maybe not. So something I didn't go over is how Death and Decay works now. Oh, that's wrong keybind now. Yeah, so Death and Decay, as long as you're standing in it, wow, this is lagging so badly, it cleaves. God damn, this is ridiculous. Things are dying so fast. Yeah, so as long as you're standing in your Death and Decay, you cleave all targets. So you obviously want to put Death and Decay down in such a way that it hits targets, but as long as you're actually standing in it as well, it will cleave. With the Clawing Shadows ability, which makes your Scared Strike a ranged attack, 30 yards, but I'm not even going to bother using Festering Strike because things are dying so fast. Yeah, you can cleave from 30 yards if you're standing in your Death and Decay. It's pretty hilarious, honestly. And with the Talon Infecting Claws, it makes your ghoul able to apply the Festering Wounds, so you don't even have to rely on being in melee range to apply Festering Wounds. It's hilarious. So I'm not even going to try on these trash packs, honestly, because things are just dying so quickly I can't really do anything. It'd help if I actually had my ghoul out, wouldn't it? Noob errors. So here's Wraithwalk, our new mobility. 1 minute cooldown. It's nice when it's up, but it's crap when it's down, and you can't attack during the duration. So let's go to town on this guy a bit more. There's my Festering Runes, up to 4 of them, so let's get Soul Reaper on it and start popping them. Whenever you don't have Festering Runes on the target, just keep on using them. Bloody hell! Okay, that was ridiculous. 185k DPS. Oh wow, them other guys must feel pretty bad. So here's a nice... God, I keep using the wrong keybind for Death and Decay. So yeah, you can see my Scared Strike cleaving. Pretty nice. God, I can't believe how quickly that boss died. So like everyone who's previously played a pre-patch, you know that everything becomes completely broken, and that's just a good example of how much so. So let's see if this guy dies any quicker. Yeah, this guy's lasting a little bit longer. God, I'm having to try and hold back so hard on pressing what used to be Blood Tap and Plague Leech. It's horrible. Gotta do tactics properly still, so absorbing this with anti-magic shell. Gives me that sweet runic power. 53k. So obviously not having the legendary ring or cooldowns that made a difference. I could have used my Dark Transformation there, but I don't think I did. Legendary ring is just so broken. So let's just pull some of these birdies. So Outbreak doesn't have a cooldown, so you can actually spread it quite nicely. God, I keep using fucking Chains of Ice because that is actually what I have it bound to on live. Put Death and Decay there now instead. So let's use Epidemic. Where did I ban that to? Yeah. So everything with my Virulent Plague, which is the name of my disease, flares up and does AoE damage on every target that it hits and everything around them. So it's pretty nice. And it does scale with haste, the recharge of it, so that's something else to note. So let's pop all the cooldowns that I have currently ready. Get some Plagues, Soul Reaper, and hammer it away at the target. Gonna pop Corpse Shield here to absorb the damage from the quills. So now my ghoul is taking all the damage I would have taken. And I think you can actually double dip that effect while using the ghoul's huddle ability. For those who don't know what huddle is, it's well, this is the Abomination's version of it, Protective Vial. reduces damage taken. So this is like a movement impairment effect I think I'm suffering. So if I use Wraith Walk, no, it cancelled it immediately because the birds are attacking me. So that's one of the stupid things about Wraith Walk. If you take damage or you do an attack, it instantly cancels it. That's why I say it's nice when you're using it to like close distance or whatever, but if you're just using it to try and keep up with a fast moving boss, it's fucking useless. So how much damage did I do on that boss? 162k. I can never remember which one of these to kill. I think it's the Adept. I think that's the one that does the Cyclones. Either way, God, I did it again. I used fucking Chains of Ice. So let's Epidemic all this shit. Instantly kill it. I actually have my pet on passive, and I've got a macro into my Outbreak to make him attack. I should probably just put him on assist, honestly, since I'm not constantly outbreaking different targets. So yeah, there's more Epidemic. Get all that going. And I should turn the stun off autocast actually. Where is it? Smash. There we go. Actually keep control of it properly. I can't even remember what I bound it to. I've been playing this character for like 10 minutes before I logged in to do this video. So this is another one for Epidemic. Look at all that damage. It actually has quite a nice animation, all the green stuff flaring up. And obviously it recharges, so you just want to keep using it every time it recharge ends. So let's use Army of the Dead. What did I bind that to? Control R. There we go. So something else to note on Army of the Dead is it no longer taunts anymore, so be aware of that fact.
Cast you down like the mongrels you are.
Gotta interrupt, guys. Don't fail on the mechanics. Why we were actually tanking it this close to the edge, I don't know. And I actually pulled aggro with the legendary ring. Holy shit. Too much damage, too much damage.
We will always soar.
So if you ever struggled with heroic dungeons, ever, you're not going to struggle with them in the pre-patch. Yeah. So if you ever want to progress on mythic difficulty raiding, for example, you're probably going to have an easier time. I don't know if things like Gorfiend, where there's a lot of personal responsibility, will actually bring it into effect, but yeah. You're probably going to get a bit further than you did. Just like in the Walls of Draenor, Mists of Pandaria, when a lot of people who were maybe stuck on stuff like Siegecrafter went and cleared the entire thing in Mythic mode. Anyway, so that's a bit of the Death Knight changes, with a focus on Unholy, and an example of a dungeon. So I hope you enjoyed that, and understand a bit of what's going to change. So, more Legion videos coming up in the near future. Stay tuned for those. Catch you later.